Good morning, risers and grinders. I'm having a Denisha morning. I have not brushed my hair yet. So you're getting me real and in person and all my splendor. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And hi, Yesenia. I'm having a Denisha morning. I've not done my hair yet.
Yes. Hey, you just need a robe.
I- but the kicker is I didn't realize it till I got on here.
I love it.
Yeah. Ariana, I don't know what kind of coffee this is. My husband, talk about patterns. He brings me coffee every morning, bedside, which is great. And my dad grew up doing that for my mom. I don't even think my husband knows that. But I think it's a mushroom-based coffee. But it's so sweet. It could be anything as long as it's sweet. Um,
I'm having my Nespresso. I make it myself.
Nespresso. No, you don't. You have a machine that makes it.
Well, whatever. My husband doesn't.
Oh, I walked into that.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
He's not on my good list today.
You know.
Yeah. It'd be that way.
Good morning. Yeah.
I'm checking to see who's on here right now.
Yeah. We're
Good
not gonna.
morning. No,
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna. Yeah.
not
Okay.
public.
I'm about to go down a road we don't want to go down.
Mm-mm.
Ah, Alonda! Shout out PSG board member from the East Coast.
Shout
Where's
out
it
HSH alumni-ish.
Oh, I love that you're on here.
Me
Um,
too. I miss you,
so
Rhonda.
I want to dive in. I'm gonna try and put this in the. It's
While
not
you're doing that,
pasting. It's
can
not
you paste
pasting.
links? I don't know that you can. This ain't
I
video.
apparently can't, so I will post this to our story at some point today. I
What?
found the article that I had been talking about in the last conversation from Ted Hammery. He's the former head of the Oaks here in LA. He's written a piece about the admissions game. He's a former head of school, and so his lens is he knows the game. And I read this piece he wrote a few days ago. I need to reread it before I really dive into it. So I want to share the link with even Denisha and everyone here so you can read it and we can have an intelligent conversation about it. But I thought it was right on time because admissions are coming out and people are finding out where they get in. And I think there is so much to this game that has nothing to do with an applicant.
Absolutely.
And his piece talks about that. It talks about the macroeconomics of this and how really the inclination is for parents and people to think the school's getting it wrong or
Something's
we
wrong
need
with
more
me. Something's wrong
marketing
with
or
my
something's
child.
wrong.
Yeah.
Right. That all these things that we think of when really there's so much that we're not thinking about that go into these decisions that again have nothing to do with you or me. So it's fascinating. So I'm a post that on my story today. In the next 48 hours here in LA on the 13th is D Day,
Decision
which is
day.
decision day. So families find out where they've been accepted to in terms of private school, and then they have a week to decide where they're going to go. So
They've
it's
changed
a
it so many times over the years because you used to have 2 weeks. It used to come out the Friday before spring break, and then you had 2 weeks to decide.
Mhm.
And now it comes out a week before spring break, so you have that week, and then schools are out.
Well, and now you have early admissions for siblings.
I love that though.
I do too, but my
Yeah.
point is, like I was telling Denisha, I don't. So here in LA, there's a consortium of admissions directors, and they've agreed to certain
Rules.
rules. And I think that is slowly changing. I think less and less schools are adhering to those rules. There are rules like who you can contact during certain periods, and when dates will be, universal dates for people. And I think it's changing only because I'm hearing that people are finding out earlier than the 13th. Like I've gotten calls from people who know where they've gotten in, and I'm not sure how that's happening, other than maybe those schools are not adhering to those uniform dates anymore. I'm not really sure, but
No,
that's
I
just
don't
here in
understand.
LA. It's different in every market too.
Yeah, I don't understand this year, but I mean, I'm not mad at it, you know.
It was happening. I think it was happening anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it's more of a sign that they need to go back to the drawing board. I do believe there should be some mutually agreed upon rules and a framework. And also something should happen if you're not adhering to it. Because I remember like 10 years ago, them having these rules and all the schools adhering to it. But then I'd hear bits and pieces about one or two schools who were still part of the consortium
Yeah.
who didn't follow the rules.
Well, that's what happened. That's what happened. So other schools were hearing, I mean, even the way that parents are contacted, there's rules around that. You can talk to families up until a certain date. And then after that date, only parents can talk. So then schools got smart and was like, oh, let's get a team of parents who can talk to these parents. If you make contact with them before decisions go out, then you can call them during. But the
Right.
schools can't call you until the Friday, the last day at 9 a.m. So once
But
the
they
decisions go
even
out,
found a workaround for some of that.
which is
Like
what?
when administrators have multiple titles.
Mm,
And so if the admissions head can't call, but the ex can.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know the workaround was like the parents using
Yeah.
parents a lot of that because it's supposed to be at 5
Yeah.
p.m. once that decision goes out because they all go out the same time.
Yeah.
Then until Friday, which is the day that your last day to accept or decline, um, at 9 a.m., then admissions can reach out to you as a
Right.
reminder today's the last day, but
Right.
it's also like that nudge.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but then there's like you just said, this year I've been hearing more and more families finding out before decisions have even gone out. I mean, I feel like they're getting heads up. Like, here's a heads up, you're not going to get in, or here's a heads up, we're going to have to waitlist your child.
Yeah.
I miss the old days. And I say old days, I did not grow up in private school. So when I say old days, my oldest is a senior in college, and we started this, what is that? 17 years ago. I'm like, I can't do math right now, but it was 17
You
years
old.
ago. Shut up. That's when I don't have a response. It's like, be quiet. You are. Okay, whatever. I am. I don't want to even talk
I
anymore.
mean, I'm
No,
older than you. You didn't go to the easiest place possible.
no, I was feeling a certain kind of way. We just had birthdays, so I
Yeah.
am feeling no. But back then, no one talked. Schools didn't talk to each other about who they're admitting,
Yeah.
how much aid, if aid's involved, what they do. Like, none of that was a factor. And now schools like are really talking to each other. And so
And it's
when
affecting where you get in.
right, I was gonna say when
Yeah.
we started, you got offers from all the schools that you connected with. And
Yeah.
now your most students are getting like one offer, because schools, they don't want to be stuck trying to fill their spaces once admission season is over. They want to be done. So it's like I get it, but I do miss the days of just like not playing chess.
Twitterless B. I think you pronounce your name Bea. Just said so interesting of the experience in other states and systems. And you know what?
Where are you?
Proving the point for Private School Village to continue to
Hmm.
roll out in other markets. Can you imagine this conversation and how much we can learn from what's working and what's not working from the parent perspective
Yeah.
through our affiliated chapters?
As the kids
How
do. Wait.
it's
Oh,
not this.
I'm like, am I
Not
supposed to
this. You're supposed to
close?
do this.
I'm like, I was like,
Close it.
mine is ugly. Okay, there you
Close
go.
it.
I had to do my lips too.
Oh, she's in New York City.
Oh, so okay. What's the process there? Oh, did you want to come on?
Well,
What's her
let's
name? Baby.
be, I think. We're gonna put you on the spot. If you can't do it, all good.
But if
If
you
you
can't,
can.
come talk to us. Share.
Oh, Alonda says in New Jersey, every school does their own thing.
Really? So is
That's
there a
crazy.
season, Alonda? Does Alonda want to come on?
Oh my gosh.
What's wrong?
Oh my God. It's a woodpecker.
Is it loud?
I mean, it was right at my window frame. Okay.
Oh,
It's gone now. But
they're loud.
yeah. Uh-oh.
Who's coming?
Twitter, I think B. It said she's joined, but I don't see her.
Not yet.
Oh. We scared Alonda off.
Did she leave? I was gonna say, let's see Alonda in.
We sure did.
Alonda might be like, I'm not sharing nothing.
You're right. No, no, no. Yeah.
Before you call me in,
It's
let me
easy to
leave.
caption it right in the in the chat, but I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
she
like,
just requested. Let's see. Let's see.
okay.
Let's see.
Alonda was like, I don't want my face on camera. She got way too much to lose. We
So
don't.
I just sent you another invitation.
There she goes.
Oh, there she is.
Hi,
Hi.
y'all.
What's your
Hey.
name?
I'm Beatrice.
Hi,
Lisa, we met
Beatrice.
before because when I went out to
Yes.
LA. Listen,
You have such a
Yes.
beautiful smile.
thank you.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know this was you.
This is so. I be hiding in the
You one of those
coat with my
backseat
name.
people. Uh-huh. Now I know. Oh, you got all the tea then about New York City schools.
New York City, baby.
Share.
So let me catch y'all up. I got two kids in independent private schools. My daughter is a fourth grader at all girls, and my son is a kindergartner at all boys. Um, and we just wrapped up the season for this incoming group of
The season.
the season's been hot. It's been in New York Mag. There's been
Okay.
several articles, several clips about how insane it was this season. Um, so you guys were talking about like how the schools tend to work together. They kind of do a little bit, like they do have timelines, but some of the schools, like you said, they choose not to be in consortium with each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they talk with each other? Absolutely. But part of that is also around like they'll talk to the preschools too, because they want to know where the families rank the
Yeah.
school so that
Yeah.
they can figure out what makes sense to offer.
Yep.
Um, they are allowed to still talk to folks all through. So
Really.
we don't have any limitations on that. So the
Wow.
schools can call, families can call, like current families can reach out. They host a lot of like accepted family events, receptions, etc. So
How much time do families have
you get a
once they
week.
get? Okay.
You
Okay.
get a week for lower school, so kindergarten acceptances or what we kindergarten through about third, fourth, depending on the school, 1 week. Middle school, usually 1 week. Upper school or high school, they tend to give you, I think, 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh wow.
Because the difference is that New York City public schools will also be releasing their decisions. So, at least for high school families, you get a chance to really compare your offers between the public school system and the private school system. But if you're doing kindergarten and or middle school, you making a blind decision, you signing that contract, putting in that deposit. I hope you took out insurance. I always recommend families take out that insurance because
Yeah.
you won't find out if you got into a public school or a charter school until later on in the season.
Mm. When is your
Um,
season for elementary and
whenever the DOE decides it.
yeah?
So our New York City DOE system is very disorganized. There's mayoral control. And so
Wait, are you saying what are you saying? DOE?
DOE is a
Department
Department
of
of
Education.
Education.
Oh, okay. All right.
So our Department of Education is a hot mess with all due respect. Um, so their seasons every year is a different time.
Yeah.
They
Wow.
might send an announcement
So,
and
but
say, "Oh,
to be
this is the
fair,
deadline," and then the deadline just disappears because the system crashed or whatever the situation is.
But to be fair, it has got to be such a complicated city to even manage any of
Correct.
this in. So
Correct.
being disorganized is got to be the
It's par
norm
for the
because
course. It's
yes.
Yeah.
par for the course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
So throw in this added layer, which I didn't realize until I applied in as a parent, but the layering of prospect research that goes into admissions decisions.
Yes. Yes, it
Tanisha, do you
does.
know what I mean when I say prospect research?
I mean, of course, are you teasing me right now because
I,
of what we
well,
talked about?
only because I think there's so many parents who do not understand
Yeah.
prospect research is minimally using the publicly available
Hmm.
Available.
information about you and your family's
Hmm.
finances and
Hmm.
assets.
Yep.
Hmm.
Well, and beyond that, not just like they're looking at that, but they're also looking at like who you are. You
No,
know,
for
what are you
sure. Yep.
posting?
They're looking at your networks. So
Yep.
our applications ask what legacy status at whatever colleges you went to, what high schools you went to, what elementary
Yeah.
schools you went to.
Yeah.
They ask what affiliations you might have, whether they are past or present affiliations. They do make calls. Like we tend to have, a lot of the schools tend to have like go to community organizations type spaces that they're like, who you got, right? So
Right.
I'm in Jack and Jill, I'm in Mocha Moms,
Yep.
I'm in several other spaces. They
Yep.
tend to go
Soon
to
to be
these
private school affiliate.
organizations.
I'm just
I exactly. I'm hoping it gets here.
yeah.
Um,
She been down from moment
I've
one.
been
I
Don't
can
get it twisted.
tell.
She's
I
been
can
here from moment one.
so they tend to like go to these spaces and ask about the families that are in their membership, who can they start cultivating to consider for these schools. We do host school fairs. So these independent private schools are coming to the Mocha Moms School Fair. They're coming to
Hmm.
the Jack and Jill School Fairs. And that is also where they're kind of starting to do the research.
Yeah.
I also used to be a fundraiser in my previous life. And when we talk about prospect research, I was prospect researching donors, but it
Yeah.
is similar in that like
Yeah.
yes, you may not have like the most high paying job, but I also want to, what company are you at, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
resources does your company have? Do they have matching gifts? So
Yep.
that I know like, yes, you might not write me a large check, but that ROI might come around, right?
Yep.
What other like who's your grandma, grandpa? What legacy do they got coming down? So we do the whole um grandparents and special friends day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fundraising move. Like,
Of
let's stop
course.
playing these games, right? Like,
Yes.
because then
These
they
are
add these
businesses.
grandparents to the list.
These
Look.
are businesses.
Yes, I
Yes.
didn't
Correct.
know that when I first started. So I didn't grow up in private school. I grew up in public school here in LA. So the first time they did Grandparents' Day, I'm like, oh my God, calling my mom and, you have to come, telling my husband's family, you guys have to come. And then at the end of it, and they go to the class, they see all the things.
Mhm.
And then, of course, my mom's like, oh, they put me on the mailing list. Oh,
Mhm.
they're
Yeah.
asking me for money. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yes. Uh-huh.
oh my
And they want
God.
planned gifts, right? Because the
Yes,
hope is that grandma and grandpa, they gonna die soon, but that they gonna love this school where their grandbaby is at.
yes,
They
yes.
gon' they gonna make sure that they write that bad boy into the estate plan
Yeah.
for the school to be able to have down the pike,
Yeah.
right? So
And
there's
it's worth it if
intentionality around it.
yeah,
Yeah.
even if only a couple of families do, it's so worth hosting because they'll get, a few large donations. And I
Hmm.
don't know about there, but our school used to do it around Thanksgiving. So
Ooh.
that yeah, because we have so many families that aren't from here. So
Okay.
then parents and grandparents would come and spend their Thanksgiving now in LA where it's
Mm.
warm and all that. But right before Thanksgiving, they're coming to the school and it's the
They're
season.
strategic. They give our kids
Yeah.
half a day
Yes.
off so that the
Yes.
kids could
Yes.
go
Yes.
home and go
Yes.
spend it
Yep.
with.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I
smart.
didn't know that though. It took,
Yeah.
I mean, once you're in it, you're like, oh, and then we started realizing like all of these things that we're thinking is just like, oh, they're so kind. No, no, no.
Hmm.
They're
It's strategic.
it's strategic. Yeah.
I tell families a lot. Um, so this year, so many families got waitlisted. Like out the wazoo number of families that got waitlisted and didn't get like viable options. They're just sitting on wait lists right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of the challenge that I often share with families around the wait list is that there are kind of two different types of wait lists, right? There's the wait list of like whether the school thinks the family is a full good fit.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is from the financial aid perspective, are they going to be able to give you
Yep.
a viable like financial aid plan
Yeah.
because
Right.
they budget 3 years at a time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're budgeting for you to be in that school for the duration of your tenure. Can they commit, if it's a K through 12, can they commit 13 years of money for you?
Yeah.
Because that money then is locked in,
Yep.
assuming all things remain the same. That money is locked in for your family, right? So
Yeah.
they don't want to give you an offer that, like, yes, you will jump at it, but they know that, like, it's going to sink your family in the long run.
Yeah.
Right? So those are the conversations that like the schools are not transparent about with a lot of our families, and that makes it difficult for our families to understand how to navigate the process, the decision making
Yep.
process. How do you figure out like there's a silent round two that folks don't talk about after those decisions come out and you didn't get no options, you can turn around and apply to some schools that do have seats, right? And those
And truth
schools
be
will
told, even through the summer sometimes
Yeah.
stuff is
correct.
shifting.
Sometimes every year. Every
Yeah.
year.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Right. So families think, oh, I missed a deadline. That's a
Yeah.
is done with. And I'm like, no, try round two.
Yeah.
Expand your horizons. Think
Yeah.
about what other schools, because I live in Brooklyn. So folks tend to be very Brooklyn centric. They don't want to think about the city schools. Both my
Right.
kids go to the city. I drive into the city every day.
What does that mean?
It
How long is your
means
commute?
it's about a 45-minute drive into Manhattan. I do pay a toll to drive into the city and to drive out the city, and I pay for parking in the city. So it is a financial commitment on our end to be able to like do that to get our kids to school.
Mm-hmm.
So families tend to be like, no, I'm not trying to get to the city. And I'm like, you got to think the long game, expand your options, right? Because the
Yeah.
other thing is, you get your foot through the door. That tends to also be beneficial for your family in the long run. That you can then, if you need to transfer or if it's not a right fit, schools are like, oh, you've been in one
Yes.
institution before.
Yep.
We know you're quote unquote our kind of people, even if that school setting might not have been the right setting for your child.
Yep.
Somebody asked the question,
How come I can't see the questions and y'all can?
Mac a million.
Macamarian.
Is that the same for families that are already enrolled or just new enrollment kids? Are you asking about the commitment for financial aid?
Oh, she might be asking about the summer. Like, are you talking about transferring out? Like you're already in a school? Yeah.
You
Are
can
we gonna
already be in a
clarify for
school,
her?
and the school, if your school is like mutually, let's decide that we need to separate. They're not going to write you if they feel like it's not that you're a terrible family and they really just think that like it's just not a right fit. They will be willing to connect you with their counterpeers
Yeah.
to get you into the right setting.
It's an incestuous institution.
They all talk to each other.
Right. And they're comfortable if you've been in one institution knowing you know what this is, you know the game,
Correct.
you fit in because you've, excelled or been okay here.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay over there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just hard. So you know what? I'm actually going to post today. I don't know if you heard at the top. I stumbled
Yeah.
onto this story. I'm going to post it. I would love for you to read it and hear your insight. But I do think there's so much to this decision that is so much bigger than our families know, and it's hard not to take personally.
Correct.
And so
I've
I
had
think it's
families that are like, they've gotten waitlisted and then they do get off the wait list and they're like, oh, I'm not sloppy seconds. And I get it.
yeah,
And yet my response has always been like, I need us to shift that mindset a little
Yeah.
bit because, again, I'm a firm believer. Having had transparent conversations with admissions, I'm like, I know that sometimes being on that wait list is not because you are sloppy cat seconds in that perspective. They're trying to make sure that they take care of your family right,
yeah,
right? Like they are making a commitment to your family for X amount of years and they trying to do right by your family that you don't end up having to leave because you then can't afford it.
right. we can't let this whole experience make us think we're the gift. We need to
Yeah.
remember we're the
Mhm.
gift.
Yep.
And there's 1,000 reasons why they may or may not be able to support this. I honestly believe the universe looks out.
Yeah.
And so if it
Yeah.
don't work out, it's probably best that it didn't, and you will find your place and you
Yep.
will.
Yep. And if you, there's no such thing in this space as sloppy seconds. Like, you know, it's timing. And like you said, there's so many factors. And I know so many kids who ended up off the wait list in a school and they're doing fantastic in
Peace.
that school. And that school is so grateful for them. So it's like, you have to have a little, you got to take your ego out of this. You cannot go in this process and have ego. And I know it's so
Yeah.
easy to do it, and I think Lisa and I have talked about this. It takes a certain type of family to even apply.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that, you know, you already have a self a sense of self confidence when you're going to these schools and you're like, you know, I've done this and that. Like these families are lucky, and or their school is
Mhm.
lucky to have me, and then you get
Mhm.
waitlisted,
Yeah.
and so then
Yeah.
your ego is bruised, and it's like once you're in it, you realize it had nothing to do with you or your family or your child. There are so many factors. And on the flip side, if you're offered a space and it's a school that you love, go for it, you know, because it is this, I always say it's like chess, but it is this game of, and maybe I should say Tetris, because
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
like all the pieces have to fit in a certain way, and if you mess up, it can mess up the school environment. You can mess up, like, how many families have gotten into schools that were their number ones and then were
Yeah.
miserable,
Yeah.
you know, because they were pushing it. So, I mean, when you're doing this process, I think a little bit is having faith that you're going to land where you're supposed to. And people say that all the time, but it is the truth. You
Yes.
know, you end up where you're supposed to be. And sometimes when you push it,
It's
you
not the
find
right
out that's
place.
not where you were supposed to be,
Right.
you know, the hard way.
I'm gonna
And
go
I
back
will
to
just
Macamillion's question. Wait, Lisa finish, and then we'll go back to her question.
I just wanted to take it a step further and remind folks that, like, while we're talking about admissions and getting in,
I
the
stay.
work don't stop
I
Yeah.
stay.
once enrolled. You need
It's the
to shift
beginning. It is the
that
beginning. Yep.
mindset. It's not about just getting in. What
Yes.
happens next?
That's
Become
step
the
one.
expert. Become
Yep.
the expert in the school that you have selected to embrace for your child and your family. Don't stop showing up. That's when you become the expert in that school and you
Yep.
immediately get engaged.
Girl.
You immediately show up.
Yep.
So, you know, last week I talked about, we went to this talk with all these fabulous Black women, but Viola Davis said, when she goes to set for her, when she started acting, it wasn't about like, oh, I booked a job. I'm getting an echo. I'll back up. It was about learning every single position, everything, so that she's educated. And I feel like we should walk into these spaces with that same like
Yes.
push. Like, I
Yep.
don't want just to be a parent in this space. I don't want my child to just be a student. I want to know every aspect of this school, and I want to be educated so that I can share and I can talk, and I can talk to when there is something going on. Like, I
Mhm.
can day one address
Yes.
it, you
You
know?
haven't waited until there's a problem to make sure everyone knows who
You
you
don't.
are.
Yeah.
Correct. I actually have like a board committee meeting for my son's school today, right? Like
Yeah.
we talking about DEIB, let's figure out what's happening, right?
Yeah.
We having leadership changes. I've been to every single parent meeting that they've had for us
Yep.
to meet the candidates, giving my feedback, right? Um, I have I'm on another committee at her school, right? Because at that point, then the school also gets to know you, and they just be, hey, can you serve on this committee? Can
Yep.
you know what I mean? Right? I show up to they do they have a conversation to walk us through the school's finances. And I want to be at that meeting because I want to understand where are our endowments? What are the risks that we're taking? How much debt does the school have,
Yep.
right? Like, what's the long-term strategy to maintain sustainability for this institution? That even if my child graduates from here, this institution is still standing. And that means that another child that looks like my child has the opportunity to step foot into this building and get a world-class education.
And as you become engaged and as you
Serve on that
matriculate,
board. Remember that board, our Abley training?
yeah.
Listen.
But remember, as you are building and getting engaged, you're also looking behind
Yes.
and bringing up with you so that the next generation of families is not learning from the same place that you learned when you
No,
started.
you
They
don't
are
want them
they
to
are
start over.
Don't make them start over.
Yep.
yeah.
That, and
Um,
I'm about that for on every level in these
mhm,
schools. Like
mhm,
not just like if it's an infinity space, you making sure that it's set up so that it
Yeah.
continues after you leave.
Yep.
If you're a room parent, you're passing on a handbook like, hey, don't start over. This is what we did, you know?
yeah,
If you are on the board, you leave that board with more rich diversity, racial diversity
Yeah.
than when you came
Yeah.
to
Oh
it.
my gosh, yes.
yep.
Well, even just you showing up on any board, the board of
Yes.
trustees, the PA board, when you're on that board, other families are singing you, and then they're going to want to be on that board. Without us being there, then they're like, it's not for me. And
Correct.
then you make sure that it continues after you, that
Yep.
you're not the one and done.
Just like when we
Correct.
tour schools and we all sitting there like quietly counting whose
Yeah.
faces we see. Same
Yep.
thing.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, wait, let's go back up to Ariana's question because I
Was
love
that
being
Macamillion?
determined.
Yes, yes.
I want to answer that question because
What
I
was the
want our
question?
family. Her question was, if you started without financial aid, but your child is enrolled, can you get financial aid? Absolutely,
Yep.
yes. Um, I will say so. Most schools, at least in New York City, they tell you if you didn't apply for financial aid, you have to wait 3 years because again, they do it by like divisions. You have to wait 3 years. However, if something drastic
Yep.
happens, you go to them. You lost a job, spouse. Like there are several families that I know right now that have lost spouses. Right, so loss of a main of a breadwinner in the household, significant changes. Now you're caregiving for elderly parents because you know we sandwich generation out here. All those changes. Go to the school. Be transparent. Right. My children, both of them, are neurodiverse. Navigating what neurodiversity looks like in a mainstream school is a whole nother full-time job. But I've partnered with the school enough to say, yo, a neuropsych costs 7,500, $8,000.
Yep.
So that means that that's less money that I can now write you a check for because I have to write it for the neuropsych,
Yep.
right?
Right.
Or I have to get additional services that
Right.
the city is not providing. And so when you look at my finances, I need you to understand that this is where my money is going. Right.
Yep.
And so the schools are then like different perspective because I didn't start off in the school needing these services. My kids didn't need these services until later on. And so the schools then are able to adapt. They always have it's
Reserve.
like yeah, they always have the reserve. They always have like a separate pot of money that's like just in case for emergencies.
Yep.
When pandemic hit, so many families lost jobs or
Right.
were on like forbearance, furlough, and they were able to tap into those buckets of money to say, "Hey, we're going to still support these families through these transitions." So just because you're there and didn't start off with the aid doesn't mean you can't never get the aid.
What I need people to remember. These other families are asking.
Hmm.
These other families are being very transparent. And the beautiful thing about a school is they understand we're comprised of families with whose dynamics are changing every day. Right. And
Especially here in
so
LA.
we often as a people won't want to ask. We don't want to burden. We don't want to be embarrassed. We tell ourselves all the reasons why we can figure it out ourselves and then go to the school. Oh, this is your
The worst
partner.
that can happen is they say no, and then you're like,
Absolutely.
you know what? Maybe this is not the place for me
Right.
And chances
Absolutely.
are
because
they're not going to say no. They're going to help you because you're already in the school. You're already a partner, and like we talked about, you're not talking to them for the first time because if you
they
listen to
know
us,
you.
you come in and you started off as a partner. You started off with being invested in the school, and in LA, it's a little different from New York because so many of our people are industry and they know that there's ebbs and flows in this industry.
Yeah.
So they always are. I know, like our schools always start off with, "Are you applying for financial aid?" before they start looking at who they're admitting. And there are many
Oh,
families who some years have,
Mm.
they're working. Everybody in the family's working. They are donating on top of donating, and then 2 years go by and that
Nothing.
show
Yeah.
ended, and now they're not working, and now they're asking the school just for a little something, like, can you help cover fees, can you do this? And so the schools know, but it changes. You
Yeah.
might one year need aid, and then the next year
So
you're a
we
big
don't.
donor,
Yeah.
you know.
Woo! Okay. One last question. When we coming to New York, Beatrice?
Whenever, listen, did I text you or did I in my head
You
tell
and
me
I
that I
had
texted you?
coffee like a
We
few years
did.
ago. We had
Few
breakfast
years
or
ago
something.
when I was in
Yeah.
LA, but I thought I texted you recently because Rosetta came to do a workshop at my son's school. And I was like, "Oh, you were on the PSV call and it was so late I couldn't stay up. But I'm so happy that I got to see her in real life because they brought her in to talk to us as affinity leaders at the
Yeah.
True.
school.
Yep.
And so just thinking again about like how are we creating spaces for our families, but also like integrating ourselves into our school communities, right? Like I said, it might as well be a second full-time job. My kid's head of school knows exactly who I am. She knows all I do. Like I'm here. I'm in the building. I'm volunteering in the library. I'm helping with tours. I will make some phone calls for prospective, like reach out to prospective families. What you need, I got you,
Yep.
right? That is my whatever you need. If it's in my wheelhouse of possibility to make happen, I will do that because I am just as invested in the school community as the school itself cares
Yeah.
about its own sustainability
Yeah.
for the purposes of my family, my children, my legacy, and those that come behind us to be able to have, right? Um, and so it's a always rolling conversation. My son, we just had this conversation last week because my son is the only black boy in his grade of about 45 kids. And I was like, this can't happen again.
Yep.
Incoming kindergarten class got 5 or 6 black boys,
Good.
What about your
right?
son's grade?
Yes.
They're bringing in another. I got the
Okay.
confirmation they're going to bring in another. But that
Okay.
work doesn't stop, right? It is
Yep.
also the commitment from the school because when we said yes to that seat last year, I was like, listen, he the only one. What's the plan? What's the strategy? What needs to happen in order for that number to change by the time he graduates out of here?
Yep.
I need every family we know to know that it will take you speaking up
Correct.
if you are the only one in a group for that
Otherwise, they think
change.
your kid is fine.
They
Oh
think you're
no.
fine with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They think you're
Absolutely.
fine.
Well,
Absolutely.
we almost
And
left.
especially if it's not a major entry point of a year, don't let
Correct.
them gaslight you into
Yeah.
thinking, oh, it's not possible because
This
uh-uh.
this baby boy coming in the first grade, that's not an entry year for us,
Yeah.
right? And yet we're like, okay, there's one coming in. We're not expecting them to automatically be best friends just because of racial
Doesn't
identity,
matter. It
Be
doesn't
but
best
it's the
matter.
friends.
reflection of seeing somebody
Yep.
else who looks
Yes.
like
Yep.
you,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
That is just as important. But that also means that, like, yes, we got another one, so that's 2 in the grade. Again, they got multiple more years left on this
Yep.
journey. So this is going to be an ongoing partnership with our family, with other families to make sure that we are helping other families see where
Yeah.
they can fit into our community and how to join us.
Be mindful if you have two classes per grade.
We
I know
have
this is
3.
a
They like to
little
split them up. Don't split them
girl.
up.
Yep.
Keep
Thank
them
you.
babies together.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
let them know like it's okay, because we have that issue too. Now I'll say this: in a couple years, if you find that they're not getting along or it really is a personality thing, okay. But in the beginning, keep them together.
They
Do
just
not
need to see
try
each
to
other.
separate them so that other families feel comfortable.
So you have
This
racial
is about my
diversity spread
child.
across.
Yeah, no,
Correct.
no. I've been there, done that. Like
I'm like, somebody
literally
class
been
not
there.
gonna have a Black History Month presentation, but it ain't. I can't
Oh,
be at the. It's just not gonna happen. I'm
no,
sorry.
Yeah.
not a, no. Or they can have it.
They
They
can
can
have
have
how
it.
about you enroll more of us and then
Yeah.
We can spread the wealth.
right. Yeah.
No, yeah. That's a hill you die on, is
Hmm.
them staying together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Woo!
It's 10:04. Lisa and I have 11 o'clock. I have
It's
not
one for me.
I've not showered. I love to share that. So yeah, we're gonna have to end this. But Beatrice, I'm actually gonna be on the East Coast
Ooh.
during our spring break. So
When's your spring break?
when is our spring break, Lisa?
23rd,
March.
March 23rd through April 3rd.
Oh, it's ours. New York City private schools have the same break. Public school
Oh,
does not. But we
really?
on the same. Okay, we
So
will
are
make
you
this
gonna be in
happen.
town?
I will be in town.
Oh, okay, well let's
We will
we're
make this
we're
happen.
gonna be staying primarily in DC, but
Okay.
my son loves New York, so I'm sure we're gonna
Okay.
hit up New York. And then Alonda, she's off the call because I need to tell Alonda too that we're coming. We
She's in New
usually
Jersey.
they'll hook
Okay.
up with Alonda as well.
We gonna
So
make this
yeah,
happen.
so I will. Let's be in touch.
Coast tour. All
Thank
right,
you. Thank
Beatrice,
you.
don't be a stranger. This has been fun.
Oh,
We're
I
going
never
to
will be.
reconnect with you and figure stuff out.
Yes. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Rise and
y'all.
grind, y'all.